Alright, Bonehawks, this video is all about Mortal Kombat 1. And before we get started, I just want to address the elephant in the room. Mr. Quan Chi is out. That's right, and I know a lot of you are waiting on gameplay for him. I'm not quite ready to show that off yet because I only was able to play for like an hour last night, and that's what I'm going to spend tonight doing, trying to get him to a spot where I won't be embarrassed to show my gameplay, where I actually kind of know what I'm doing and have a game plan going. So don't worry. I haven't forgotten about you. Quan Chi gameplay is in the works, but I wanted to make some sort of content today, and I thought the talking with the newest patch would be a good one, and just maybe if you haven't hit the notes, or maybe there's some stuff you didn't know, that's what we're doing today. So yeah, that being said, let's get into it.
Accept your death.
If you want to follow along, I've put a link to the patch notes in the description down below, so you can go there and head this out. And we're just going to go from the top down. Again, not going to mention every single thing because I don't think all of it is relevant or worth chatting about. So we're just going to go over the big things. But I want to start out by saying that I am very impressed with this patch. They took they didn't change anything too much. They balanced some things, most things up. Just a couple things down, which is exactly what I was hoping for. I think in all my experience with NRS games, this might be the best patch that they've ever done. I'm super duper impressed with this. So that being said, let's go over the general fixes. First two that I want to mention right off the bat is they added a ticking sound now for when you're below 10 seconds in the round, which is a great accessibility feature. I love that. Anything that can make it easier for other people to play the game, I'm all for. Inclusivity, all that kind of stuff. That's just kind of who I am, you know? The second big thing is fixed an issue that could cause edited controls in a local match as player 2 to sometimes not apply until after the match is restarted. We were having problems with this at events, at ECT it was happening when we were doing casuals, where you set your controls and then it just wouldn't save. So now it seems that we know why. They fixed it. I love that. It was fantastic. And the last one that's worth mentioning is they adjusted the health values in Chapter 15 of the story mode to make everyone have 1,000 health. Don't really care about that. Nice though, well done. Then there's some more bugs, glitches, that kind of a thing. Some weird ones that I haven't encountered myself, but you know, they're QA professionals for a reason. So that being said, let's get on to one of the juicier things here, is the online. So during ranked matchmaking, you are now presented with information about the match connection with the option to decline before proceeding. So yes, we have the Wi-Fi filters in there now, so you're not forced to play somebody on Wi-Fi, you're not forced to play someone with an unstable connection, so that's fascinating, you know? And it's, if you're on Wi-Fi, you can still play. You're just going to probably be playing against other Wi-Fi players, so that is what it is. Everyone's on the equal footing, so I'm really happy with that. There was a lot of weird connection issues that I've been having with this game so far, and apparently now there's even more. People, I see Honeybee was tweeting out there, please fix your servers, getting all sorts of desync issues. Let me know if you've found any of them. I haven't popped into ranked yet. Still kind of learning Quan. Want to make sure I have a decent grasp on them before I kind of go into the ranked trenches. Fixed an issue where incorrect stats could be reported for a match if both players quit a Combat League match at the same time. Not sure a scenario where that would happen, but apparently it has. And yeah, also they fixed your rank stats to display correctly within career stats, because that's been a thing since day one, where I'll look at my thing and it'll say like I played like Frost and Johnny Cage. I'm like, no, I didn't. What are you talking about? So I'm assuming that that's that, as well as my stats were never correct either. So it'll be nice to actually go and have accurate stats you can look at to kind of see where you stand, that kind of a thing. I'm going to skip invasions for the most part because this is just secondary for me on this channel. The one thing I do want to mention is that they fixed something that causes your dashes to go the wrong way during Survive. And I thought that was just me, so I'm glad that that's a bug. I was just like, how are my inputs this bad? Like, I'm just trying to bounce around the screen. Like, so other than that, I'm not going to go over the invasion stuff. Like I said, patch notes are linked below if you want to go through it yourself. But yeah, I'm not really I don't care too much about that. It's just a secondary thing to level up and practice combos for me. Okay, on to practice mode, and this was a big one for me because I've had my qualms with this since the game came out, and like now, since you reset, you're not going to get that annoying sound every time you reset of your super meter being full. What a quality of life change. That was so annoying. I'm glad it's gone. Thank you. I do not want to relive that part of Mortal Kombat 1's life. Thank you very much. And they added up block frame data. That's huge because I was kind of just guessing on a lot of it. So now we can have some more consistent numbers. That helps, of course, play the game better. I love that. They added the option to remove the HUD entirely if you wanted to do like just like a fun combo video or something like that. I don't really know why else you would use that, but that's a nice option. And what I really like is they actually have added now the option of where your super meter is. 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3. Especially for characters like Shang Tsung, where he has a move that takes 2 bars of meter. To be able to accurately practice with that is absolutely huge in my opinion. So very well done, great decision. So when we go to the character section of the patch, we actually don't get any sort of meaningful buff or nerf until we get to Johnny Cage. So now damage scaling is no longer reset and correctly scales, which means that his show-off parry is going to do less damage. And from what I saw, it's quite significant, which shoutouts to the competitor. That was kind of his idea, was to nerf his defense instead of nerfing his offense. So Johnny Cage will still have his insane pressure, lacking a projectile, shadow kick is safe, but the show-off parry just doesn't do quite as much damage. And this is what I really love about this patch, is they didn't go too like kill it or cure it kind of a thing. They went to just small, just mediocre little changes that should increase the quality of life for everyone playing the game. Love it, absolutely. And then again, it's mostly visual fixes and stuff that they're doing here, where we go down through all the way to, say, Rain. There's some gravity scaling adjusted there. So it's just kind of small tweaks. Reptile got a really interesting one. So his devastating blow, which is his back to overhead claw thing, that he could cancel into his roll, he can actually now cancel into a summon cameo. Super cool way to adjust that. Give Reptile a little bit of help. I think a lot of people are thinking that he's quite lower on the tier list. So this is just a small thing to give him an extra option, which is really nice. And of course, depending on the cameo that he's with, I think this is a good change and I welcome it for sure. So Sindel got a lot of changes, mostly bug fixes, but a couple things like if you've ever played a Sindel and they just do this really long, obnoxious combo on you with their float cancels on the finish them screen, that's gone. Can't do that anymore. There's some weird stuff with her cartwheel too, like kind of disabling breakers and stuff. One thing that I actually liked that they gave her is that when she steals your cameo, when she steals your cameo, it actually changes the color of her cameo bar, so you can get more visually see what, you know, that's, okay, now we're back to Kano, you know, or, oh, we've stolen Shujinko. I don't know what we're going to do with Shujinko in this instance, but hey, we have him, so it is what it is. But yeah, having that kind of anything visual like that is fantastic. Just kind of give a bit of a difference there. I don't know if they plan to add like some sort of audio cue to that as well. I guess her saying "you are alone" is enough. At least that's consistent, so I like that. So interesting changes for her for sure. SubZero, from what I hear, probably got the most love out of the cast because the hitbox region on this move has been changed to make combos a lot easier to hit, at least from what I see from my SubZero friends. So that's a nice change. And also, you can do multiple ice clones now. But yeah, you can do a few in the air, same thing, you can do it in the air as well. Come on, do it in the air, please, thank you. Don't make me look like a fool, SubZero. I will say, though, that one thing they're kind of bad at is telling you how to do these things. So all you have to do is just hold it. If you don't want to have 3, you just tap the down back 1, R2. If you want 2, hold it until 2 come out. Proving to be a little bit harder than I thought. Never mind, I lied right to your face. You can hold it to get 3 of them out. 2 of them isn't an option, but that still uses 2 bars of meter to get the 3 of them, so that's a good deal. That's a 3 for 2 for, I think, is how you would word that. But yeah, some really nice changes for SubZero. Were they the changes he needed? I don't know. Somebody said they found a touch of death or something with him, so that would be interesting to see. But yeah, he's definitely kind of fell behind to the lower end as well, from what I understand. I'm not a SubZero main, and I don't pretend to be, but this is just what I've heard from people. And that's really all for the actual character part. So that being said, let's move on to the cameos. Last, real quick, Omni-Man got a lot of fixes, mostly bug fixes or unintentional things. So if you care about that, check it out. But yeah, moving on to the cameos now. So starting first off with a huge buff to Cyrax here. So we have the net is now going to steal your meter as you're stuck in the net up to 1 bar of meter. So yeah, that was a very interesting change. Net already kind of held you there for a long time as it is. I kind of felt that they should have done something more to make this move worth using, because it's... I've seen some people say it's supposed to be like an air juggle, but it's pretty slow. I don't really... like 99 frames? I don't know. I got 99 frames, but a juggle ain't one of them. But kind of maybe like a little, you know, sorry for kind of killing the cameo kind of a thing. But I mean, I still thought it was good. I've seen Scars Unseen doing some absolutely insane stuff with Cyrax and Sindel. So, but yeah, Cyrax, that's a pretty cool, pretty big, meaningful change. So Darius got a lot of love. So he got this new heel turn move where he can come in and does an overhead attack on a knockdown opponent. So this could be useful for, say, like armor break or something on a wake up. Doesn't launch or anything like it does in the other volleyballistic, but it's a nice little option. You can also delay his eat dirt just a little bit longer than you used to be able to before. So it definitely seems to me like they spent... like the cameos are the game, right? We've known this, and they're definitely confirming that with this patch. Main character roster, not too many changes, more fixes. And now this one, they're focusing on kind of leveling out the cameos, which I absolutely love. That is fantastic. And yeah, then a lot of recharge delay increase on stuff. So things will come back faster when they wouldn't before. You know, just things like that. They're just like such a nice change. And that's something that Darius actually needed, because I feel like that's why a lot of people didn't use him, because the cooldowns were so long. So now, not so much. So Kano got one really nice change, and that's that his eye laser is now mid. And I don't mean that like how the kids use it when they say mid. I mean it's actually a mid attack. Increased pushback, if I remember correctly. I'll have to go back because I made a video on like buffing all the cameos. I'm pretty sure that the pushback wasn't the same, and that was one thing that I would do. And they've taken one of my suggestions. Not that they, you know, necessarily were like, oh, that guy Dink said, did you see what he said? Yeah, let's do that. But I'll take credit for it, why not? And that's to make it a mid, which I believe it was in the very, very early closed beta. Perhaps I'm misremembering that. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's a mid again now, so... And again, I think that was something that was deterring people from using this move, because, like, why else would you use it? Just a high, you could just duck it, and then goes half of your cameo bar, but now there's actually kind of a use for it, so... And for Goro, Punch Walk starts up a little bit faster and has a little bit more pushback. The only problem that I see is it's still all highs, and I'm not a Goro main, I don't pretend to be. Goro mains out there tell me. That just seems like an issue to me, because they will all whiff, and then... you know, you just poke underneath it anyway and Goro goes away, you know? I felt like maybe one of these could have been a mid, so I'm not sure if that balance really kind of... I said the same thing about Frost as well, but I think one of those should have been a mid as well. So yeah, but let me know. You know better than I do if you play Goro. Maybe I'm correct or incorrect here, and that's totally fixes the problem. But to me, it just seems like, he has other moves. Why would you use that over, like, Raise the Roof or something like that, you know? Alright, so there's 3 cameos in total that I'm excited to go over. And my first one here is Kungla, because there were so many people in my other cameo video that I made that were like, whoa, why are you calling for nerfs? You're gonna ruin the game. You don't know what you're talking about. Kungla can't get nerfed, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? Hey, at the end of the day, I got the last laugh. We got our nerfs. So there's 2 of them. The first one, if you watch the combat cast, obviously, -3 instead of +2. Which is a big one. You can also interrupt this too, by the way, so, I mean, there's that. But they also added 5 frames of recovery to his Lao hat. So you have about roughly a second more before it comes back. It still comes back very, very fast. But you can't just kind of machine gun it like you could before, right? So you do have to have a little bit of cameo management here. So I think that's a safe and fair nerf. They kind of kept the thing that they want you to do with Kung Lao without completely taking it away. So I definitely commend them for that. Love that. We'll see how much of a difference it makes, if it's enough to kind of deter people from using Kung Lao, or if people just stay on the wagon and keep doing stuff. And my secondary cameo that I use, Motaro, in the Reiko matchup, because apparently NRS does not want Shujinko to be able to do anything against Reiko, so I have to use a cameo if I want to play this game. Got some really, really nice changes, like his low shot here The recovery is sped up by quite a bit. Arguably, if I were to be using Sindel, that might be a problem, because she can speed him up already, and then we have another low hat situation going on. So, you know, and I'll give that argument to those who are saying, "Oh, we'll just trade one in for the under." Sure, okay, I'll give you that for sure. But what I'm really excited about, and the whole reason I use him, is for the reflect. You know, like that has been sped up a lot. So, and he's the only cameo that can really kind of do this, I guess. I think Tremor has something like that. It's more of an absorb, I think, than a reflect, but if you want to reflect projectiles, Motaro's your dude. Like, that's the reason that you would use Motaro, and they've really reinforced that more now, which is really what I like to see. Give all these cameos a purpose, you know? This is what, if you want this particular thing, pick this cameo, and they really just cemented that so well with these changes to Motaro. And his tail turret, you know, changed the hitbox a little bit. It still has quite a long cooldown, but I mean, that could maybe be like a round closing out type of a thing before like just throwing it out all the time or trying to use it as zoning kind of a deal. So I guess I'm okay with the cooldown because we have increased cooldown of the other two, which actually gives him a purpose. So these changes in and of itself made me super duper excited for this version of the game and this season of Combat League. Alright, so young Scronpion here. This recovers way faster. On block, -2, so you're safe on block. Which before I believe it was -12, I want to say, somewhere along those lines, judging by the patch notes. So you can kind of throw this out a little bit more, hopefully giving young Scronpion a little bit more viability here. This move remains unchanged, and as far as I know, that's really the only... Nope, I'm wrong. This move recovers a little bit faster now, which is still fairly slow, but I mean, it's a pretty strong move, so like, it pulls you out of danger with some armor. So, again, they're just trying to help. Super unique move for Scorpion, just kind of help make sure that he has a purpose, and this is what you want to use it for getting out of danger, moving away from your opponent, etc. You know, you're trying to zone, opponent's not letting you zone, and closing in, footsies, boom, now you're back here. Haha, have fun, bitch! And of course, my boy Shujinko, I knew he would get some love. They're not messing around with changing what he steals, which is kind of what I think needs to happen at some point. Again, Reiko matchup is kind of useless at this point. But now he adds 100 health for using him, which is super duper nice. That's really the only change they gave him, which again, I like that they're going with slow, methodical changes. And yeah, the other one that he got is when he steals the cameo from Shang Tsung, it actually changes the color on the screen, so you know that you still have cameo uses as that cameo. Good to go. Those are two very nice quality of life changes, and I will take them as I try and figure out how to use him alongside Quan Chi. Sector got some really nice buffs with his flamethrower. Made it a lot faster. The second hit comes out no matter what now. The competitor was telling me that this can kind of like cover some gaps that maybe it couldn't cover before. And then everything else with Sector remains the same. Homing missile seems to still be not a really... Why would I use this move? I guess it's strong, so there's that, but recovery is kind of poopy. Moving on to Sonia, she got some really nice changes with her projectile, and man, is this fast. Like, you can just kind of... This would be great for zoning. It is a summon, so there's that. Like, the recovery is crazy, and it's still, if you want, you know, like, plus ridiculous amounts on block. I think if we charge it fully, we can get to 102 frames? Plus 102 frames, full screen? That's crazy. And yeah, and pretty good recovery on that too. And then also this is now uplock invulnerable, which someone will have to fill me in on that because I'm not, like, why would someone be uplocking this, is my question. And it's also safe at -9, so I mean, that's cool. But yeah, that one just kind of confused me a little bit. And then Tremor, not a whole lot of changes to Tremor, just some quality of life things. Same thing that Shujinko got, where, and Sindel has, where it changes the actual color of the cameo if you steal him. And also he adds 100 health. So that seems like a big change to me out of right out of the gate. You know, he's fresh cameo. He's out. Maybe they didn't expect him to be so underwhelming, or they want more people to use him. But yeah, no real other changes other than that. So, and that's it. That's all the changes for the December update. Obviously, with a strong focus on the cameos, you know, which, you know, love to see it, that kind of a thing. Yeah, questions, concerns, or anything else that you see. There are some things in here that changed that they didn't actually mention, like, for example, Lowhat changing the frames. I know they mentioned it on the combat cast, but it's not actually in the patch notes. So there's a couple little things like that. I'm sure I'll find the thing here and there that has changed that, you know, maybe it's not in there. And if you have, let us know in the comments. Or community, we're here to help each other out. So that being said, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't because we make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks next video.
Accept your death.